There's perfect. Okay. Hey guys, we're gonna get started in a couple minutes. Just make sure we're all aligned here.
Do you want me to stand up?
No, I think we're good. Yeah. How's everyone doing? We have a couple of you guys on here. So we're gonna get started in 2 minutes. You can start making your way to your mat. We'll start with a seated position. So if you need to make it a little bit more comfortable for yourself, you can elevate the hips by sitting on a bolster or a pillow or a cushion. So you can go ahead and grab that now if you think you'll need some. Do you think you'll need something?
I need a block.
Okay, or you can grab blocks if you think you'll need a block. If you don't have a block, don't worry about it. I will offer alternatives. Thanks for being here. Just take the next hour or two. We'll take it a little bit easy today, but still moving the body and stretching and strengthening the body. And of course, if you have any questions throughout the class or at the end of class, you can feel free to ask me, and there's a live chat. So you can type in your questions there, and I'd be happy to answer them. So we'll just wait for Alexis to come back with her block. We actually don't have blocks here, and we use boxes of a puzzle box instead, which totally works. It does the same thing that a block does, add some support, some like something that's like stable, like maybe a book too would work to just elevate it's usually to elevate like the position of the hand or something. So if you want to, you can try. If not, I'll offer variations if we don't have any props. So we will get started in a comfortable seated position. Start sitting on your mat. So if you want, you can grab that bolster or the cushions to elevate the hips. Makes it a little bit more comfortable to sit on the floor for long periods of time, especially if you have tight hips or any lower back issues. Elevating the hips is really useful. Or you can even sit on a chair. We won't be here for too long. I don't want to scare you, but whatever you need to do to make the posture comfortable, where you don't need to lean back on something. You're sitting up tall and straight by your own efforts. So you're not leaning up against the wall or leaning up against the backrest of a chair. You want to find a straight spine with the shoulders directly over the hips. So before we start, my name is Monica, and I'm a yoga teacher and yoga practitioner. I specifically practice Ashtanga Yoga, and this is my sister Alexis. She'll be our model for today. We're going to move slowly through some of the postures in the Ashtanga Yoga sequence, starting with standing postures, and then we'll do some seated postures. And we'll start off with some seated meditation, breathing, and then move into some gentle movements to warm up the body, and then we'll start into the standing sequence of Ashtanga Yoga. So find a comfortable seated position, and you can bring the hands to the knees or into the lap, whatever is more comfortable, and gently close the eyes. And just taking a moment here to shift the attention from whatever you're doing before. You're focusing outwards, doing something, preparing for the class, shifting into this moment, to this space, beginning the practice. For the next hour, you'll be turning the attention inwards through the breath, just tuning in and checking in how you're doing. What's your energy like today? Or what's your mood? There's no right or wrong answer, just observing your states right now, physically, emotionally, mentally. Dropping into the body and feeling the body. If maybe your mood is sad, then just questioning, like, what does sad feel like in my body? Where do you feel it? Do you feel it? What's the experience of that emotion in the body? Just observing without judging what you find and without trying to change what you find. So don't label it as a positive thing or a negative thing. allowing yourself to experience whatever it is you're experiencing. Feeling into that experience through sensations in the body. What are those sensations and where are those sensations in the body? Feeling the sit bones, those two bony bones at the bottom of the hips. You want to be right on top of the sit bones, which means you're not slouching and you're not coming into an exaggerated back bend. Your pelvis is neutral. So that from your neutral pelvis, you can have a long, straight spine growing out of the pelvis. So in order for that to happen, you need to be right on top of the sit bones. So the sit bones aren't shifting forward too much, they're not shifting back too much. It's kind of feeling for yourself, like what position in the pelvis will make it possible for me to find a seated position that's with a straight spine, that's stable and upright, but it's also relaxed and comfortable. Really diving your attention into the inner body, into the pelvis. Feeling the weight of the body move down through the sit bones. So just allowing that to happen. Allow the weight to move down through the sit bones as you feel the ground supporting the weight and holding and receiving the body as you completely release down through the sit bones. Relaxing all around the hips. So maybe you're holding onto some tension around the hips. Relaxing that, relaxing in the lower back. Continue allowing gravity to connect you to this grounding sensation, this connection to the ground. Moving the attention up the spine, lengthening through the spine, through each vertebrae, through the neck, up through the crown of the head, relaxing the shoulders. So again, you're finding this upright, straight spine, but also bringing in some release and some ease. Not too rigid. Releasing wherever it's possible without losing the integrity of this posture of a straight spine. Releasing anything that's unnecessary. Coming into the breath, feeling the breath moving in and out through the nostrils. Feeling as the breath touches the insides of the nostrils on the inhales and the exhales. Observing the breath as it moves in through the nostrils and out through the nostrils. Feeling the sensations of the breath making contact with the body. What does it feel like? What's the temperature of the breath? The inhales tends to be a little bit cooler, and on the exhales a little bit warmer. Experiencing this for yourself. The temperature of the breath, coming into the more subtle qualities of the breath. Sharpening the mind to feel these subtle qualities. As the mind wanders, noticing that it's wandered and just gently bringing the attention back to the breath. Yoga is the practice of focusing on a single point. focusing on the breath. And further strengthening the pattern, the habit of bringing the attention back to the single point, back to our object of meditation. So in this case, our object of meditation is the breath. Strengthening the pathway back to the breath, the pathway of the mind focusing on the breath, coming back over and over and over again. Bring the palms to heart center. Further initiating the space of our practice with an Om. You can join me or you can just listen. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale the hands back down to the knees. Gently open the eyes. Good. Okay. Let's start moving. Yeah? Come into a tabletop position. Onto your hands and your knees. Good. And setting up to have your shoulders over your wrist and your hips over your knees. So we'll start gently warming up the spine with some cat-cow movements. Inhale, dropping the belly down and reaching the chest forward. Exhale, rounding the spine, tucking the tailbone under, and lifting up through the center of the upper spine. So really moving your shoulder blades away from each other. Inhale, dropping the belly, and the sit bones are pointing up towards the ceiling now as you reach the chest forward. Exhale. Pressing the shoulders down, rounding the spine, and really tucking the tailbone under. Inhale, take a deep breath in as you expand through the rib cage and the chest to make more space for the breath. Exhale, now you're contracting through the rib cage and the chest to really squeeze all of the breath out of the lungs, taking full breaths in and out. Inhale, moving and articulating through each vertebrae. Exhale, matching the length of the movement to the length of the breath. So take a few more at your own pace. Really just making the length of the movement match the length of your breath. So if you have a longer breath, then the movement's going to be a little bit longer. If your breath is still a little bit shorter because you're still working on developing that lung capacity and that breath extension, then maybe your movement is a little bit shorter. Either way is fine. What's important here is that you're focused on the breath as it moves through the body and as it moves through these different expressions of the body. And we're moving the body in a way to have a deeper experience of the breath. So we're like helping facilitate the breath moving in and out. As we inhale, the chest and the rib cage expands to make more space for the breath. And as we exhale, we're contracting. So we're helping that, we're facilitating the movement of the breath moving out of the body. So just connecting to this breath-body connection, and then mind connection as the mind comes to focus on these two things working together. Good. Just take a couple more. And then when you're done, you can make your way into a child's pose. Good. Just resting here for a little bit, kind of starting to warm up and get into the hip joints. So notice how you're really sinking into the hip joints in this position. You can have the knees separate a little bit, which takes you a little bit deeper into the hip joints, or you can have the knees together. So you have the sensation of the torso kind of draping over the knees. Either way is fine. If you can reach the forehead to the floor, you can gently place the forehead on the floor. If this is not as accessible for you because there's something going on in the knees or something going on in the hips, you can place a bolster underneath the hips. So that'll, allow you to not go into so much of a flexion into the hips or bend into the knees. Maybe you have some knee issues. All right, you're going to move your way back into a tabletop position and just going to start to gently wake up the core and wake up the strength in the body. So you're going to tuck the toes. Good. Make sure you're in a neutral position with the pelvis and you're pulling the lower belly. Suck the lower belly in to engage those deep internal core muscles. Press down through the shoulders so that you have a lift up through the center of the upper back, and the shoulder blades are spreading away from each other and the arms are strong. Maintain all of this that I just went over. Shoulders down and away from the ears, pulling in the lower belly, and now you're going to press into the toes and lift the knees. No, not all the way, just hover. Gently hover. Good. Gazing forward.
Easier.
2, just be here for a few breaths. 3, strong legs, strong core, strong arms. 4, 5, exhale, come down. I'm going to take child's pose. Good. We're going to do that one more time. Just gently start to like wake up the body. I sometimes I start my practice just doing planks, holding planks, because for some reason that like gets me excited to practice, because it like wakes something up in me, like my muscles start to like fire up, and I'm just like, all right, now I'm ready to practice, get some of that stagnation moving. And she's looking at me because she doesn't want to do it because it's hard, which means you probably need it more than any of us. Okay, come back into tabletop. Okay, you're gonna tuck the toes and hover, lift the knees. 1, pull the lower belly in. 2, deep, steady breathing. 3, gazing forward. 4, 5, good. Okay, come back into downward facing dog. So tucking the toes and reaching the hips up and back. I'm gonna take this easy, bending the knees 1 knee at a time. Good. Relaxing the neck. And start to walk the feet forward in between the hands. Keep the feet hip-width distance apart and bend the knees. So you're going to drape the torso over the legs. Bend the knees as much as you need to feel comfortable in this posture. And you want to feel like that release through the lower back, through the spine, through the neck. Feeling the weight of the body move down through the feet. You can grab onto opposite elbows. That adds a little bit more weight to really release through the spine. And you're going to gently press the feet down into the mat to slowly roll up through the spine, rolling through 1 vertebrae at a time, keeping the head and the arms heavy, and then bringing the shoulders over the hips into Samastitihi, equal standing pose. The feet are together. You can bring the big toes together and slightly open the heels. So the heels are separated just a little bit. Good. Feeling the bottom of the feet, coming into this grounding sensation. So the weight moves down through all points of contact in the feet. And then engaging through the legs, so your quads are super strong, creating a nice solid foundation here. Tucking the tailbone under so the sit bones move down towards the mat and the pubic bone lifts up, pulling the lower belly in, lengthening through the lower back, through the spine, and up through the crown of the head. Relaxing the shoulders. So you have this equal and opposite direction happening. The feet are moving down through the mat and the head is reaching up towards the ceiling. And then you find yourself in the middle of that with the breath. Equal standing pose. Samastitihi. We'll start really slowly, really breaking down Surya Namaskar A, step by step. So first movement, just the arms over your head. Inhale, palms touch. And then exhale, bring the hands back down slowly. Remember, connecting the length of the movement to the length of the breath. Deep breath in, externally rotating through the shoulders, so the palms facing up, arms over your head. Shoulders rolling forward, elbows in towards each other. And then exhale, bring the hands back down towards the mat. We'll do it one more time. And this time, as you reach your arms over your head, stay connected to the ground. So as you reach up, stay connected to that downward moving energy through the feet. Inhale, lift the arms over your head as you press the feet down and lift the rib cage and the chest up towards the ceiling. Exhale, slowly bring the hands back down to the side as you keep growing tall through the crown of the head. Okay, now we're gonna add on the next movement in Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, externally rotating to the shoulders, palms facing up, elbows in towards each other. Exhale, fold forward with a long spine, hands to the mat, and rounding down through the spine, relaxing the neck. Bend the knees as much as you need to here so that the fingertips can touch. Inhale into half lift. Fingertips touching, reach the chest forward, and you want to try to flatten the back as much as you can. The chest is reaching forward, lower belly is pulled in. Again, bend the knees if you need to. Exhale, fold forward, relax the neck. Inhale, coming back up to stand, pressing down through the feet as you reach up with the arms, with the rib cage, with the chest. Keep pressing down through the feet. Exhale, slowly bring the hands back down to the side. Let's do that again, same thing. Inhale, arms over your head, moving with the breath, pressing down to reach up. Exhale, fold forward, long spine, relax the neck. Inhale into half lift, lengthening. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, arms over your head, connecting with the breath. Full breath in at the top. Exhale, full breath out as your hands come back down to the side. Good. Okay, we're gonna do it one more time. No, we're not gonna do it one more time. We're gonna do it again and we're gonna add on the next posture. Inhale, arms over your head. Exhale, fold forward, long spine, hands to the mat. Relax the neck. Inhale into half lift, lengthening through the spine, pull the lower belly in. Exhale, step back into a plank, shoulders are over the wrist. Inhale, lower the knees without letting the hips drop down. Keep pressing down through the shoulders, lifting through the center part of the upper spine, gazing forward just a little bit. Inhale, take a deep breath in. Exhale, you're gonna bend the elbows and come all the way down to the floor. Good. Inhale into half lift, come up halfway, not half lift, coming up into like a half upward facing dog. So just lift the chest, keep the elbows in and back, shoulders away from the ears. Legs are strong, strong legs. Good. Exhale, press back into a tabletop. Tuck the toes and reach the hips back up into downward facing dog. 1. Here you want to have the fingers spreading wide, pressing down through the base of the pointer finger. 2. Externally rotating to the shoulders, moving them away from the ears. 3. With a soft, relaxed neck. 4. Good. 5. Inhale, walk up to a half lift. As close as you can, bring the feet in between the hands. Walk up, you can bend the knees to get there into the half lift position, lengthening. Exhale, fold forward, relax the neck. Inhale, arms over your head, pressing down through the feet as you reach up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Good. Let's do that again. Inhale, arms over your head. Exhale, full breath out. Bring the hands to the mat and relax the neck. Inhale into half lift. Exhale, step back into a plank. Strong plank. The legs are strong. The lower belly is pulled in. Lower the knees. Inhale. Exhale, slowly lower down. Keep the elbows in towards the ribs and the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, come up halfway, or if you want, you could straighten the arms all the way and press the shoulders down into upward facing dog. Exhale, moving through tabletop, or just going straight into downward facing dog, or you can go back into that child's pose. 1, reaching the chest towards the thighs as you reach the hips up and back. 2, 3, deep breathing. 4, 5, inhale, walk up to the top, half lift position, lengthening. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, arms over your head, palms touch, gazing up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Good. Okay, now we're going to move through Surya Namaskar B. Inhale to Utkatasana. Bend the knees, lift the chest. You're in a chair pose. Sink the hips down. Exhale, fold forward, hands to to the mat. Remember, you can always bend the knees through this transition of folding forward and keep the knees bent here, especially if you feel any weird tensions in the lower back. Inhale into half lift, lengthening. Exhale, step back into a plank. Lower the knees, take a deep breath in, pull the lower belly in, and exhale, bend the elbows. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, come up halfway, or you can straighten the arms all the way into upward facing dog. Keep the legs strong, pressing down to the tops of the feet. Exhale, pressing back into tabletop and into downward facing dog or child's pose. Now you're gonna bring the right foot forward in between the hands. Lower the back heel. Inhale, we're gonna lift up into Virabhadrasana, warrior one position. Arms over your head. Shoulders are squared forward and you're bending into the right knee. Good. Exhale, bring the hands back down to either side of the foot and make your way back into a plank. Deep breath in, lower the knees if you need to. Exhale, slowly lower through Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, or just lift the chest a little bit. Exhale, pressing back into downward facing dog. Right, left foot forward in between the hands. If you can't quite bring your hand all the way in between the hands, you can just step halfway and leave it halfway, or you can grab onto the ankle and move the foot forward. So use your hand to help you move forward a little bit. Lower the back heel. Inhale, lift the chest, strong right leg. Square the shoulders forward. Exhale, bring the hands back down. Make your way to a plank. Lower the knees and take another breath in. Exhale as you bend the elbows. Inhale, lifting the chest or coming all the way up into upward facing dog with the straight arms. Exhale into downward facing dog or into a child's pose. Coming into the body and reconnecting with the breath. 1, 2, deep, steady breaths. 3, 4, 5. Inhale, walk up to the top. Half lift, lengthening. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, arms over your head. Bend the knees into the chair pose again. Lift through the chest. Pull the lower belly in. Exhale, Samasthiti. Good. Okay, we're gonna do it one more time, but this time we're gonna stop in between to get some more, to stretch some different parts of the body. Inhale into chair pose. Bend the knees and lift the chest. Palms touch. Exhale, fold forward. Hands to the mat and relax the neck. Inhale into half lift. Lengthening. Pull the lower belly in. Exhale, step back into a plank. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Lower the knees if you need to. Inhale into upward facing dog. Exhale into downward facing dog. Bring the right foot forward. Lower the back knee. Good. So now we're just going to come to lunge position. Just take a pause here to get some stretching into the front side of the left hip. So you bring your hands to the thighs. Bend into the right knee until you feel that limit in the front of the left hip. So try and stretch the front of the left hip. Relax the shoulders. And really just settle into this limit. It may be a little bit uncomfortable, but it's good. It's like that healthy amount of stress to help us find new limits by stretching the front side of the hip. Good. So if it's too intense, then you can just straighten the right knee a little bit. So you can kind of go in and out of the intensity by bending into the right knee or straightening it a little bit more. You can also, there's another option here to put the hands onto the floor, next on either side of the foot. So a couple more breaths here, really coming into the breath and allowing the breath to help you relax into this posture. So by focusing on the long, steady breaths, it makes being in these uncomfortable situations a little bit more bearable, a little bit less reactive So you can settle into this posture. Okay, bring the hands down to the floor on either side of the foot. Tuck the back left toes, lift the knee, and then lower the heel down so that the foot is at a 45-degree angle. Good. Inhale, lift up into Virabhadrasana, arms over your head, palms touch, bend into the right knee. Exhale, bring the hands back down to the floor. Inhale into plank, lower the knees. Take another breath in here if you need to, and then exhale, bend the elbows to slowly lower down. Inhale, lift up halfway or straighten the arms for upward facing dog. Exhale into downward facing dog. Okay, now we're going to do the other side, same thing. Bring the left foot forward between the hands and lower the back knee. You can bring the hands onto the thigh, bending into the right knee to start feeling that stretch to the front side of the right hip. Good. And then use your breath to help you comfortably be at your limit. So find the limit where you feel like you can't stretch anymore in the front of the right hip, and then try to find stillness there. Stillness in the body and stillness in the mind by focusing the attention on one single point, which is the breath as it moves in and out through the body and as it finds new spaces to move into. Good. If you need to bring the hand down, you can. So a couple more breaths here. Calm mind, steady breath. Good. No, don't calm. Okay, exhale, bring your hands on either side of the foot. Inhale into plank. Nope, sorry, I forgot Virabhadrasana. And you aren't going to say anything. Lower the back heel. Inhale, lift the chest, arms over your head, palms touch. Exhale, bring the hands down. Step back into a plank. Inhale, lower the knees, pull the lower belly in. Exhale, bend the elbows. Inhale into upward facing dog or just come up halfway. Exhale into downward facing dog or child's pose. We'll take 5 breaths here. 1, steady breathing, deep inhales and exhales. 2, 3, reaching the hips up and back. You can walk the feet a little bit closer actually. 4, strong legs. Reaching the heels towards the floor. 5, inhale, walk to the top into half lift. Feet together, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to chair pose. Bend the knees and lift the chest. Utkatasana. Exhale, Samasthiti. Good. Padangusthasana, bring the feet hip width distance apart. Inhale, you're going to fold forward and catch the big toes with your middle finger and your pointer finger. Wrap them around the big toes. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. You can bend the knees here if you need to. 1, pulling the lower belly in. 2, releasing through the spine, through the neck. Relax the neck. 3, moving the shoulders away from the ears. And if you can, you start to bend the elbows to reach the crown of the head towards the mat. Good. 4, take deep breaths here. 5, inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale there. And then inhale, come all the way up to the top to standing. Exhale, Samasthiti, top of the mat, feet together. Utthita Trikonasana. Inhale, step the right foot back. We're going to go into a triangle pose. So your right toes are pointing towards the back of the mat. Left toes are in at 45 degrees. And this distance between the 2 feet is like approximately the length of one leg. Not a perfect measurement, but it can be approximate. And then you're going to keep the hips open. So you're going to keep the shoulders pointing the side of the mat, the hips pointing the side of the mat, and find the connection through the feet into the mat. So feel the bottom of the feet and the weight of the body moving down through the feet and engaging through the legs. So further establish this foundation by having the legs really strong and engaged, lifting the kneecaps. Reach the arms out to the side. And then inhale, you're going to reach forward with the right hand. Exhale, bring the hand down to the right leg. And you can either have it on the shin, on the ankle, or catching the big toe. Gazing up towards the left fingers and keep pressing down to the feet. Find the breath. Rolling the shoulders away from the ears. Deep breaths. Good. Inhale, come up slowly with control as you press down through the feet and pivot the feet. Let's do the other side. Right toes in, left toes out, pointing towards the front of the mat. Arms out to the side, find your foundation, pressing down through the feet, engaging through the legs, pulling the lower belly in. Take a deep breath in, reach forward with the left hand, and then bring the left hand down to the shin, ankle, or big toe. You can also put it on the block. If you had a block, this is a good place to use it. One, I'm going to roll the shoulders away from the ears and move the torso to be over the left leg. Good. If that means your hand goes further up the leg, that's okay. If your hand is on the leg, just make sure you're not dumping your weight into the leg. Instead, hold yourself up with the strength of the legs and the strength of the core by pulling the lower belly in. Inhale, come up. Now from here, we're going to go straight into Parsvakonasana. So you're going to switch your feet, right toes pointing towards the front, and you're going to widen your stance a little bit. So widen. Don't be scared to widen. No, not like step forward. Good. Good. Okay. Good. Losing your balance a little bit. It's okay. These standing postures in Ashtanga Yoga are actually, the purpose of them is to help us find our foundation through the legs and also help us find our balance. So help us find our center, and that starts by finding the foundation through the legs. So you're going to bend into the right knee, and the knee is going to come directly over the right ankle. Good. So you're moving towards a 90-degree angle with the knee. So she could bend more. I'm not going to push her, but she could bend more because this knee is a little bit of diagonal. Okay. You have two options here. Someone's got vertigo today. You're going to bring the right hand down to the outside of the right foot, or you're going to bring the forearm to the top of the thigh. So show both options. So one is like that. Good. Or the other one is with the forearm on the thigh. And then you're going to reach the left arm over your head. Good. And you're going to keep pressing down to the outside edge of the left foot. So the left leg is super strong. You're stretching through the front of the left hip, through the side of the left torso. And then you're externally rotating through the left shoulder. So rolling that shoulder away from the ear, and the pinky finger is pointing down towards the mat. Keep reaching with the left hand and pressing down with the left foot and bending into that right knee. Okay, inhale, come up. It's hard. Switch the feet. Left toes pointing towards the front, right toes in. Exhale, bend into the left knee so the knee comes over the left ankle. And then the left hand comes down to the outside of the right foot on the floor or the forearm onto the thigh. Reach the right arm over your head and use that right hand reaching to help you find more stretch through the side of the body, through the front of the hip, and then keep pressing down to the outside edge of the right foot. So you're reaching and moving in equal and opposite directions, down through the right foot, and reaching with the left arm, rolling the shoulder away from the ears. Good. She can even open up a little bit more, spiraling the torso up towards the ceiling. If I don't throw her off her center. Good. Inhale, come up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Good. Okay. How you doing? Inhale, step the right foot back. We'll do Prasarita Padottanasana. Hands to the hips. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, fold forward, hands to the mat. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. So if you can't quite touch the mat, then you can separate the feet a little bit more, or you can slightly bend the knees. One, and if you can, get the palms flat on the mat. 2, you can open up the legs a little bit more. Yeah. 3, relax the neck. And you're walking the hands back if you have the space. Walk the hands back towards in between the feet or maybe even past the feet. 4, slowing down the breath. 5, inhale, lengthening through the spine, look up and hold it on the exhale. Inhale, come all the way up, hands to the hips. Exhaling at the top. We'll do the C version. Inhale, reach the arms out to the side. Exhale, interlace the fingers behind the back. Inhale, straighten the arms as much as you can. Exhale, fold forward. Now we're going to stretch into the shoulders. So relaxing the neck, relaxing the shoulders, and moving the hands away from the hips. 1, good. 2, good. 3, strong legs. 4, good. 5, strong legs to come all the way up to the top. Exhaling there. Inhale into Samasthiti, top of the mat, feet together. Okay, let's do a balancing posture. So we can just do tree pose. So you can either have the right foot on the ankle, on the calf, or all the way up on the inner thigh. So find your version. So before you move into the posture, shift the weight into the left leg. So you make sure your left leg is really strong. And you're pressing down through that left foot. You can have your palms to heart center. Find a drishti point, something that's not moving that you can gaze on. And then come into the breath, lengthening and deepening the breath. 1. If you fall out of it, then you can just come right back in. If you need to use a wall to kind of help you find your balance, go ahead. 2. 3, finding the center line. 4. 5, exhale, release. Good, shake it out. To the other side, shift the weight into the right leg, come into the external rotation in the left hip, so the knee points out. You keep pressing down to the right foot, then move your way into the foot on the ankle, foot on the calf, or foot on the upper inner thigh, palms to heart center. 1, find a drishti point, something that's not moving that you can gaze on, rest the attention there, so that your attention can go inwards and you're not distracted by things going on around you. 3, focusing on the internal engagements to hold the integrity of the posture. You're focusing on the breath, deepening and moving in through the nose and out through the nose. 4, growing tall through the spine as you reach up through the crown of the head. 5, exhale, release. 2, Samasthiti, top of the mat, feet together. Inhale, bring the arms over your head, palms touch. Exhale, fold forward, hands to the mat and relax the neck. Inhale into half lift, lengthening. Exhale, step back into a plank. Inhale, lower the knees down. Exhale, bend the elbows, chaturanga. Inhale into upward facing dog. Exhale into downward facing dog. Okay, now we're going to jump through to seated. Straighten the legs into Dandasana. So the feet are flexed and you're keeping the feet touching. The legs are strong and engaged and the hands are next to the hips. You want to be right on top of your sit bone so you have a straight, long spine, reaching the chest up towards the ceiling, dropping the shoulders away from the ears, so maybe the elbows bent a little bit if you have long arms, or if you have a short torso, same thing. I guess it's all relative. Dropping the shoulders away from the ears as you keep lifting through the chest. Good. Pull the lower belly in. Take 5 deep breaths here. 1, good, and then tucking the chin down towards the chest. 2, keep the legs strong, don't forget about the legs. 3, 4, 5. Paschimottanasana. Inhale, fold forward and catch the big toes. Or if that's too far, you can just catch the outsides of the legs or the ankles. Exhale, fold forward. The legs are strong, pulling in the lower belly. If you feel like it's really hard for you to access this pivot in the pelvis in order to fold the torso forward, then sit on something, on a cushion, a pillow, a bolster, something to elevate the hips. And this will give your pelvis a little bit more space to access that rotation, that tilt, to fold forward. Take a couple more breaths here. 4. Relax the shoulders. 5. Inhale, look up and lengthen. And exhale, release the feet. We're going to come into reverse tabletop position. So inhale, slide the hands behind the hips. Fingertips pointing forward. And then bend the knees and plant the feet. The feet are hip-width distance apart and the feet are parallel to each other. You're going to inhale, lift the hips up and come into a reverse tabletop position. 1. Keep lifting the hips up with the strength of your legs. 2. Deep breaths. 3. 4. 5. Exhale, come down. Good. Let's take a vinyasa. So you can either do what Alexis is doing, where she's tucking the feet underneath, or you can just swing the legs behind you, make your way into a plank. Inhale, lower the knees. Exhale, pull the lower belly in to bend the elbows. Inhale, halfway or all the way. Exhale into tabletop, and then into downward facing dog. Okay, jump through to seated. You can either jump through like Alexis, or you can just bring the knees down and then sit back. And then swing the legs around, the legs in front of you. Okay, now we're going to do some twisting positions. So let's tuck the left foot underneath you and bend the foot, and bend the knee. Yeah, good. Then you're just going to hug the right knee, bring the right hand behind you, and twist over to the right. So you can use this left hand that's hugging the right knee as something to push up against and reach the chest back towards the wall behind you, or whatever is behind you. So you push against the knee, so the left forearm is pushing up against the right knee, and the right knee is pushing up against the forearm. And that gives you something to leverage yourself and find the twist. And you're going to reach the chest back, pulling the lower belly in. On your inhales, find length through the spine. And on the exhales, use that leverage to reach the chest back. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, twisting. Releasing the muscles along the spine to move deeper into the twist. Take one more breath here. And then exhale, release that. Switching sides, you're going to tuck the right foot underneath and then bend the left knee. Good. Hug the left knee, bring the left hand behind you. Good. Twist with the entire spine, so finding articulation through each vertebrae. As you keep the spine long and twisting, reaching the chest behind you. And then use that pressure against the left knee to move the chest in an opposite direction. Feel the rib cage spiraling over the hips to find the expression of the twist. And use your breath. Inhales to lengthen, exhales to twist, to deepen the twist. Take one more breath here. And then exhale, release that. Good. And let's take a vinyasa. You can make your way into a plank. And then exhale, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale into upward facing dog. Exhale into downward facing dog. Good, jump through to seated. Now we're gonna do a couple of navasanas, which are kind of fun. So you're gonna hug the knees in towards the chest, hug the knees in, good. And I want you to find your sit bones, yeah? So you're actually going to be behind your sit bones a little bit. So the sit bones are going to shift forward a little bit. So you're not going to be super up on your sit bones. You're going to let yourself be back a little bit more. Yeah? And then keep the knees here. And now bring the arms out. Let's see if we can hold it here. 1, keep the knees in close to the chest. Feel those muscles in the front of the hips really working here. 2, good. Knees to your chest. 3, pull the lower belly in. 4, 5, and you can cross the shins, take a break. We're going to do that a couple more times, and each time I'm going to offer you an expression that's a little bit harder, working towards the full expression of the Dandasana. If it's too much for you, feel free to always revert back to the version that I showed before. Okay, so come back to this one. So you can either stay here or you can move forward with me. Inhale, you're going to lean back a little bit so that the toes lift off of the floor, and you start to lift the toes. 1, keeping the knees in towards the chest. 2, good. You can stay like Alexis with the toes just lifted. 3, 4, keep the knees together. 5, and take a break. Good. How are you doing? You said this should be fun. It's fun, right? It's super fun. Like waking up that inner fire in your core. It's super exciting. Okay, we're gonna do one more version, and I'm gonna offer an even harder expression. Feel free to use any of the expressions you've already worked on. So come back, knees to your chest, arms out to the side, lift the feet, start to straighten the legs, and then maybe straighten all the way. 1, keep the lower belly in, lifting to the chest. 2, steady breathing. 3, don't come down. 4, 5, exhale, release. Good, that was really good. Okay, take a vinyasa. Inhale into plank. Exhale, bend the elbows, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale into upward facing dog. Exhale into downward facing dog. Good, jump through to seated. Lay down on your back. Just take a couple bridge positions. Bend the knees and plant the feet. Good, so your feet are in front of the hips. Feet parallel to each other, hands to the floor. No, we can just do bridge. Unless you want to do full wheel pose. Inhale, lift the hips up. As much as you can off of the floor. 1, good. 2, so now we're doing the opposite action with the front of the hips. Before we were engaging and contracting them, and now we're releasing and opening the front of the hip. 5, exhale, come down. Let's do 2 more times. Inhale, lift the hips with the strength of the legs. 1, 2, keep lifting the hips up. 3, good. 4, deep breaths. 5, exhale, come down. Let's do one more. If you are familiar with Urdhva Dhanurasana, you can go ahead and do Urdhva Dhanurasana, which is the full wheel pose. If not, we'll just do bridge again. Inhale, lift the hips up. 1. Now, if you want, you can interlace the fingers underneath the hips. You can leave them where they are. 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, come down. And bring the knees into the chest. Good. Use this as a way to release the back bend. Rock side to side to massage the lower back a little. Whenever you feel ready, you can rock up to seated. Come to a comfortable seated position. You can wrap the arms behind the back, grabbing onto opposite elbows. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, fold forward and move the forehead or the chin towards the mat. 1. Deep breath. 2. 3. Following the pathway of the breath. 4. 5. Inhale, coming up. Releasing the arms, bringing the wrist towards the knees, the pointer towards the thumb. Lengthening through the spine so the shoulders are over the hips, dropping the chin down towards the chest. 1, deep, steady breaths. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Releasing that. Final posture, Uputihi. Cross the shins and bring the knees into the chest. This has come up a couple times this class. Knees in close towards the chest. Hands in front of the hips. And you can keep the feet on the floor if you need the extra supports. You're going to inhale, shift the weight forward, press into the hands, and lift the hips up. 1, shoulders forward, hips back. 2, I'll show it to you from the side. 3, 4, knees to your chest. 5, pressing through the shoulders. 6, 7, lift the feet if you can. 8, 9, and 10. Exhale, come down. Good. All right. You can either take a vinyasa, or if you'd like, just go straight into Shavasana, the final resting pose. You're lying on your back. She's going to take a final vinyasa. Whenever you're ready, lying down on your back, palms facing up. And you can gently close the eyes. Allowing the breath to be natural. Just watching and observing the natural breath, moving in and out through the nose. Feel the weight of the body moving down through the points of contact with the ground, and feeling the ground supporting the weight of the body. Completely relaxing the whole body, full body relaxation. Observing the natural breath as it spontaneously moves in and out through the nose. Start to deepen the breath. Slowly start to wake up the body. Moving your fingers and your toes. Rocking the head side to side. Reaching your arms over your head for a full body stretch. Deep breath in. And fully exhaling. Bring the knees into the chest. And rock over to the right side of the body. Gracefully. And then slowly make your way back up to seated. Take your time. When you get to the seated position, you can bring the hands to the knees and gently close the eyes. Settling here into the body, into the stillness. Observing the residue of the practice, and the sensations of the body, and the quality of the mind. Just observing. From the palms heart center, we'll finish with an Om. You can join or you can just listen. Take a deep breath in. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. It was super fun, right? So fun. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate you being here and practicing with me virtually. And thank you for being here in real life and practicing with me and helping us show everybody how to do it. If you want to donate for this class, it's totally optional. I added some of the details for my Venmo, my PayPal account in the description. So if you're willing and able, I would really appreciate it. And if you want to practice with me on Zoom, which is a little bit more interactive because I can see you, so not just being able to see me, I can also see you and give you some more detailed and more specific instruction based on your practice. I'm doing some classes on Zoom through my Life Center. So all that information is on my website, which my website is also linked in the description. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I would love to hear from you guys. If you have any suggestions for future live classes on Sunday, let me know, and I can kind of cater an entire class towards something that you have a specific need on. And yeah, that's it. Stay in touch, and I will see you soon. Bye. Namaste. If you have questions now too, I can take them in the live chat. All right. Okay. Bye.